Hey, what's up, YouTube? So I wanted to continue on with my uh, 2016 predictions there, and so I'm on number six there, and um, my number six prediction is global climate change will go away. It'll go away the way the ozone hole problem went away. You don't hear about that. Again, that's kind of throwback to the 80s, um, and there's a lot of kind of mystery and history behind that one. The rumor had it. Maybe you guys can research this out, and I didn't really pursue it that hard, but the supposedly the conspiracy theory was the patent on Freon was going to run out, and suddenly everybody was going to be able to make it, and the people that own the patents and stuff didn't want to lose all that revenue and everything, so they decided to shut it down and came out with a replacement for Freon and started telling everybody, "Oh, Freon's bad, Freon's bad." I'm not sure if that's true or not. Um, it does sound kind of plausible though, because um, all of a sudden Freon just overnight became this horrible thing that was eating the ozone layer, and it produced a big hole up there, and it felt a lot like this whole climate change thing. And I also like to point out that it kind of went through cycles. It was called global cooling was a big fear, and then all of a sudden it quickly turned into global warming, and then now they kind of settled on climate change, and to me it feels like the whole thing was more geared towards trying to put pressure on the oil companies and you know players playing around with the popular. A lot of the stuff doesn't even make sense if you look at. I'm not saying that I'm not going to weigh in and say that it's wrong or anything, but it does sound pretty fishy because um, like when you get if the temperature rose, you would cause more evaporation. It's kind of funny that all the science gets thrown out the window. The stuff you learned in basic science school. You hear people, you tell them all the rivers flow into the ocean, and people don't believe you. It's like, well, did you skip science class or something? And if the temperature heats up, the water should produce more moisture, and the moisture should go over the land, and when it passes over the mountains, it should cool and cause more rain. And so this should produce more fresh water, and it should be a self-balancing situation. Um, but and also there's other factors way that would contribute more, like the expansion of the sun. Seems like that would cause more of a heat problem than especially CO2. And it's funny they target that because there's other gases that would cause heating much more predominantly than CO2. It's such a small factor compared to the other gases that supposedly make up the greenhouse gases. Anyways, regardless, like I said, it's gonna become a political because it kind of hurts the economy. Governments get on board. You get local guys that have some power. When I say local, like at city level, and even at the county level and at the state levels, and they start making these laws to try to save the planet from global warming. Whoops, it's not called global warming now. It's called climate change. And again, even before that, um, there was this trend for global cooling, but that's going back before the global warming got popular. And of course, climate changes. You could go look at what is it? Oh, was it Jupiter? Can't remember. One's got this huge hurricane on it that's just been going on for years. It's got a red dot on it, and scientists used to ponder what that was. And it's funny how they change. Again, what happened to the hole in the ozone layer? Supposedly, I think the last of it was is they weren't even sure if it was, and that was part of the big problem. They weren't sure if it's supposed to be there or not. They just kind of like got the technology to look at it, or a lot of times they knew it was there, and they just chose to use it for political reasons. Um, there's other cycles that people don't talk about, like the oceans go through a 30-year cycle, shift in temperature. Now, 30 years is a long time. You get two shifts, that's in 60 years, and that's a lot of people haven't been along that live that long, and wouldn't know about those things. And it's kind of like if you knew about when the new next eclipse was going to be, let's say next solar eclipse, and people had forgotten that those things existed, and suddenly start coming out, and you make a prediction on this day the sun's going to be blocked out completely, and suddenly it happens. Everybody's thinking, you're like, whoa, how did that guy know all that stuff? And so a lot of times people know stuff and the masses don't, and they can take advantage of the masses because they don't understand the way some of the science really works. Or you hear about people arguing about when they thought that the sun rotated around the earth, and then they determined that the earth rotated around the sun. And then it's kind of like we've got the centristic vantage. People look back and blame the people for used to think that the sun rotated around the earth, which makes a lot of sense if you just stand there and look, and you see the sunrise and sunset. But people look back and wonder, hey, how come those guys are so dumb they didn't realize the earth rotated around the sun? And then you go, well, what does the sun rotate around? And if it's rotating, couldn't that change climates also? There's other factors just than the earth. And also there's much more serious problems. I mean, I don't even know if the information is still out there or not, but if you can dig on the internet and find out some of the nuclear waste leaks that we've had, even in the United States, there were some serious nuclear waste dumps where radiation is just flowing in the underground water thing. We're worrying about fracking and causing trouble. You get radioactive water flowing through states, and even I was just reading an article. I don't even have a chance to see if it was true or not, but they found this mountain lion that had teeth growing out of the back of its head and stuff, and whiskers in the wrong spots. That's all signs of radioactivity in the water supply and stuff like that. And a lot of birth defects come out and stuff, and that stuff causes some serious problems. You got you want to worry about something about climate change. That nuclear reactor plant over in Japan that kind of leaked out all over. You don't hear anybody talking about that or anything. Instead it's like, oh look, the cars are causing too much CO2, which again, CO2, that's perfect for the trees. That's what they breathe to extract, and they produce water and oxygen from CO2. And also, it's kind of weird. CO2 is a heavier gas. That something you could produce, like make a fire on the ground. That CO2 is going to go up into the air and get into the atmosphere. It might, but it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of hard because it's kind of like water floating above air. You can get water vapor up in the air, but it's really hard to get high concentrations of water in the air because it's heavier than the air. Same with the CO2. The CO2 is heavier than the oxygen and other gases. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I think my prediction is that we're going to slowly just stop hearing about global climate change. And it's going to be because it hurts the economy when people start making weird rules in an attempt to fix something that might not even be there. And again, if you're kind of new, when I say new, if you're younger, just go look at the whole ozone layer problem and what happened with that and the ozone hole. And it's funny we don't talk about it anymore. And if there was a hole up there that was caused by man-made products, that would cause a lot more heating than the CO2 would. And it's kind of funny that nobody just talks about it. And it magically fixed itself or repaired itself or just became a non-issue. Anyways, so kind of my disclaimer is, you've heard it before if you watch these predictions, is don't go getting mad about me. I'm not the one that makes the future. I only predict it. So I hope you like this video, and it will be nice when, like I said, when it comes out and they're not worrying about climate change anymore, and it becomes a back burner issue and kind of just dissolves away. So when that happens, you can say, hey, I remember a guy talking about that on YouTube. So if you like this video, hit likes. If you don't like it, sorry about that. Again, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. If you subscribe, you'll see when more videos like this come out. Thank you.